Hi, hello, and welcome. I am Takesha. Some people call me TK for short, but Takesha Regan is what it is. So I am recording this video because God told me to. I just got my son down for a nap, and I'm trying to get it in real quick. So there ain't gonna be a bunch of fancy editing and all that stuff. We just gonna talk, okay? Testimony time with TK. Talk time with TK. All right, so real quick, let me just explain what this video is about. God told me to post on YouTube my experience from doing the Year of the Bride fast, and then how I end up meeting my kingdom spouse. So a little teensy bit of backstory is I was married before. I officially separated from my ex-husband in April of 2021. I was officially divorced in December of 2022. And then I met my spouse, my kingdom spouse, the man who God had for me. We officially hung out with each other for the first time in March of 2023. So really quick, my timeline of my story is that within like 2 weeks of talking, we were like, oh, you're the one who the Lord sent for me. We established our covenant. March, April, May, June. We established our covenant within 3 months of talking to each other. We officially got engaged within 4 months, and then we were married 2 months later. So we were married within 6 months of meeting each other, I guess, or like coming to know each other. So I'll give like other context to like the story outside of this. Another time I'll record other videos as the Lord leads me to do so. But the point of today's video is to explain how he and I came together for the first time, kind of like how my story went of me and him like being put together. So I'll try to keep this like to the point, and just go with me. And then if y'all want me to share any other stories or anything, like just drop it in the comments, ask questions. I'm pretty transparent, so I'll share anything. I'll record more videos based off of what y'all say. All right, so let's get into it. Okay, so when the Lord had me start my life completely over, I was 30 years old, and I moved with my 2 young daughters in with my parents in New England. And I left everything I had. My husband at the time, my job, my church, everything. Left it all to follow the Lord. And a promise that he made to me, essentially, to go with him in faith, and that he would give me everything that he ever spoke about me, and that there's a lot to it. That could be a video for another time. Okay, the point is, at 30, I left with my 2 under 4 years old children, a 3-year-old and a newborn, and we started life all over. Moved in with my parents, and just kind of went on this journey with the Lord of like, okay, rediscovering him, getting to know him again, him showing me like who I was and all these things. So in that time frame of starting life over, of going through a separation and a divorce, of starting over, I did a lot of fasting and a lot of praying, a lot of studying my Bible, a lot of counseling, a lot of healing and deliverance, inner healing. I was just like, I'm in it to win it with you, Lord. Like, let's go. It's you and me. And so I committed to him in that way. And so I was like in that way for like a couple years. So in those couple of years of just intense and regular praying, fasting, deliverance, counseling, building new community, things like that, God had sent a couple people my way, really, who prophesied to me like that I was going to have a very quick experience as far as the Lord like sending me who he had for me. And one of my good friends, she actually was one of the people who prophesied to me, and she's also the one who connected me to the Year of the Bride fast and Covered by God with prophetess Tiffany Montgomery. So I participated in the Year of the Bride fast. I was participating in like the services and like the lives and the teachings and things like that was Covered by God. The fast was Covered by God. And my good friend who had pointed me toward her, she had just prophesied to me that like she had seen the testimony of Pastor D. Fomby and her now husband, and got this sense from the Lord that I was going to have a similar experience where it's going to be like very quick in that way. And so I really was in this place of just being open with whatever God wanted to do. And I wasn't going to say no to what he wanted to do, because I had made a mess of everything I tried to do by myself. So my experience after completing the fast and just being in this position, this posture of fasting, praying, reading, dreaming, hearing from the Lord, doing whatever he was saying, like wild stuff. I just believed God. Okay, I believe God. I be believing him, and we just be doing stuff, and then he be doing it. So, my experience was that I was given an instruction from the Lord to go work at this grocery store, Whole Foods. Prior to working there, I had just been making a joke with my family in North Carolina. I went to visit some family for Christmas, and we were joking about like, I'm single at this point. So we're joking about, like where you find good men or whatever. And we were like Trader Joe's and Whole Foods. And it was just this joke at the dinner table. So anyway, I end up actually getting instruction from the Lord to go work at Whole Foods. And upon working there, I would run across who is now my husband. But at the time, we didn't know each other. We didn't talk to each other. He won't checking for me. I won't checking for him. He was outside of my type. And just for context sake, I'll say that my type has been tall, dark, and handsome. And he is white. Sorry, it's just so funny. I love him so much. So anyway, I typically would go for the African American persuasion, and he's Caucasian. So I wasn't necessarily looking for him, and it's just so funny, like how God did it. Okay, so that's the point of why we're here. Let me get to the story. So, all right. So I was going through separation and divorce. I was also just like high up in the clouds with God, like every day, having these just really awesome supernatural experiences and like all these prophetic encounters and just so much cool stuff with the Lord. So like I'm living my best life at this point, like loving this journey with the Lord and working at Whole Foods. And so what ended up happening is my position at Whole Foods got changed, and I became someone who had to like float around the store. And I ended up working in his department a few times. He was a supervisor in one of the departments. And what would happen, and it's a joke now, but I was like really thinking this was a thing. So what would happen is he would come near me and my body would like go crazy, and then I'd hit up my friends and be like, y'all pray for me, like something demonic is happening to me. Like I would be off the chain. I don't know if the thing I want to say that I did say in real life, I don't know if I could say it on YouTube. So if y'all meet me in real life, I'll tell you. But basically I was like, my body's going crazy. This guy, like he's just walked past me, and like now my body's tripping. I'm in the bathroom praying like, Lord help me. Cause now I'm very sensitive, right? I'm very sensitive in the spirit, because I've been doing so much praying and fasting. Okay, now fast forward from there. He had like a long-term girlfriend. And over the year that I worked at Whole Foods, I had been given different intercessory assignments from the Lord. And at one point, there was just this group of people at Whole Foods, including myself, that were in these seasons of like transition, where like God was shifting their position or changing their job, or moving them to a different place to live, or moving them out of relationships, or moving them into relationships. Like, it was just a group of us. And so God highlighted these people to me to start praying for them, and highlighting them as an intercessory assignment. Okay, so praying for these people, and then he is one of the people who I'm praying for, because God would like just show him to me in my dreams. He would show me stuff about him, but he was doing this about like all kinds of people, strangers. God would tell me these people's names, and they would walk into the store, and I'd be like, whoa, you know. So it was a whole thing. So a very platonic relationship with him. And then when we get to November of 2022, I didn't know at the time, but he had broken up with his long-term girlfriend. So in December of 2022, I became legally divorced. And then in January of 2023, I left Whole Foods, or it was right at the end of December, beginning of January. I felt like the Lord had released me, so I left. So now the people who I had been praying for, like, we all like followed each other on social media. Some of us had each other's numbers. So here and there, we would just hit each other up and be like, yo, what's up? You know, just on some friend stuff. And I remember that there was this one time where I felt like a shift in our dynamic. Now, when we talk about other stories, we'll get there. But anyway, so moving on. So I no longer work at Whole Foods, and I also did have a local television show. I went from filming, I was filming one day in March, and over those few months from January to March, he and I had maybe talked twice, twice, 3 times, maybe, like a movie recommendation, maybe a response to one of our stories or something. Like there's literally nothing that was there. Okay. Again, he not checking for me, I'm not checking for him. And so this group of people, we like, some of us were like, yo, we should hang out sometimes, blah blah blah. So what ended up happening is in March, I had finished filming an episode of my show. I wanted to grab some food before heading to go get my daughters, and I stopped at Whole Foods to go to the hot bar. And you know, I'm dressed, like I am dressed. I just been filming on camera. I look cute. I'm feeling good. I'm doing what the Lord wants me to do. And when I was leaving, I saw him, and it was kind of like I'm floating on the clouds, do 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 do. And he was like, hey, and I'm like, oh hey, you know, how are you? How you doing? And he's like, good, blah blah. How you doing? I'm like, great, you know. Just came to get some lunch. Okay, bye. And I'm just like, okay, see you later. And I walk out the door. And so I think it was like later that day or the next day, I don't know, where I get a DM from him. He slid up in the DM. So, and he was like, it was nice to see you today. Nice but brief. And I'm just like, what that mean? Nice but brief? What you talking about? Okay. Mind you, like prior to this moment, prior to me being like, Bert, what you talking about? Nice but brief. Prior to this moment, I had completely like canceled him, because there's a few things that I'm like, I just can't, right? And I remember like one time, one of the guys at work talking about how he was single and asking me like if I would ever go for somebody like that. And I was like, no, No, first of all, and I'm like, I like black men and I can't do people younger than me. And he be posting stuff in his stories about cats and food and stuff. And it's just, oh no. Like, I mean, I completely have just, I dogged him. And but he was a really cool guy though, really nice guy. Like everybody at work loved him. So I didn't have any problem with him. It's just romantically not my swag. So it was just so funny, the process of God dealing with me in this way to get me open to him. And so again, the nice but brief comment happens, and I'm just like, nice but brief, what that mean? But as soon as I thought it, it was just on to the next thing. I just was like, gone out my brain, right? So I was going to get a pedicure, a mani-pedi, in the next like couple of days, and like I said, that group of us at the job, like some of us were just in touch with each other and would ask if we wanted to hang out. So I had invited some people to come on my appointment. I was like, yo, I'm going to go to this, you want to join, you know? And so I remember him saying he couldn't make it because he was working, but thanks for the invite. And I'm like, no worries, blah, blah, you know, maybe another time or something like that. What ended up happening is I did not make my nail appointment because I felt like the Lord told me to go to Atlanta to go visit my best friends. And so I ended up missing my nail appointment and rescheduling it for like a week later or something like that. And I bought a plane ticket and I went to Atlanta. Now, while I'm in Atlanta, some amazing things happened. Some really cool things. The Lord is just very like, he's very specific and intentional. So I experienced lots of things. Those could be other videos as well. But I'm in Atlanta with my bestie. My bestie is the one who pointed me to the Year of the Bride fast. And she's honestly been such a consistent voice of wisdom and prophetic insight for me. And so I just bless the Lord for her. So anyway, she's hosting me in her home this week. And the day that I was supposed to have my nail appointment, I get a message from him. And he's just like, I hope you have a good time, you know, at your nail appointment. Something like that, you know, like, hope you have a good time. Sorry again that I couldn't make it. And I was just like, oh, that's so nice. Like that he even remembered. And I'm like, again, dee. But it was nice that he remembered. It's very considerate. And so I was like, oh man, thanks. Yeah, I actually didn't go. I'm in Atlanta. And he's like, oh, okay, well, have fun. And I'm thinking nothing of it. But I tell my best friend, and she was like, I don't know, girl. That sounds like something. And me, oblivious, her being like, no, this is something. You should look into this. And I'm like, you're right. Maybe this is something. What could it be? So anyway, on I think maybe the next day when she and I were talking about it, I got an email from the airlines saying that my flight had been changed. Now, what it ended up being changed to was that weekend, it was very late at night at a time where the people who I would ask to pick me up from the airport, which is an hour away from where I live, they're not making it. And I'm not trying to take a Uber or a Lyft in the middle of the night as a single female driving an hour from a major city. I'm not wisdom. I'm not doing it. So I'm thinking like, man, I gotta figure out a ride. And my best friend was just like, why don't you see if so-and-so, I don't know why I'm not saying his name. I don't feel released to say my husband's name, but you know, I'm sure it'll come up in other videos. I don't know why it's weird. I'm just like, I just keep saying him. Anyway, so you're gonna find out anyway, because I'm gonna put the little clips up on the video that, you know, pop up with the little pictures. Anywho, so my friend, she says for me to ask him if he could pick me up. And basically she's just like, what could it hurt? It seems like he's trying to let you know that he's interested, because he's like going out of his way to be considerate. And I felt that as well, but I also didn't, because he is that type of person. He's just very intentional. He's very considerate. And because I had worked with him for a year, I mean, indirectly for a year, but like for a few months directly, I knew him to be that way. So I didn't think anything of it. I really didn't. I just thought maybe he was just being nice because that's how he is. So anyway, she was just like, no, like, just ask him what's the worst he could do, say no. And I'm like, you're right. So I sent him this very awkward voice note about how, my situation, and would he possibly be available. Maybe it's a way for us to spend an hour together, since he said it was nice to see me but brief. And me like telling him that I would give him gas money, all that stuff. And so anyway, he was just like, sure, I can get you from the airport, like it was nothing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, awesome. Well, I'll see you in a few days. I'll keep you posted. So a few days come, and it's like the night before when I'm supposed to fly, and he done hit me back up. Hey, I'm just checking in to see that the plans are still, what they are, that you still need a ride, and it's this time, blah blah. I'm like, I love this because, again, intentional, considerate, prepared, planning, clear communicating, the things that I like, the things that are the opposite of my experience before. So anyway, so I'm excited about it. The day comes for me to catch my flight, and me and my friends, like I said, what a week. It was an awesome week in the Lord. We were going to do a prophetic act that week to go to a bridal shop and try on gowns, because again, the Year of the Bride fast, we are in it to win it. We have all these different prayer strategies for our spouses, our husbands, our families, our future. Like, we have written the vision and made it plain, and we are declaring and believing that thing. And so we were like, let's go do a faith act. Let's go do a prophetic act and like try on dresses, or like find out our ring size and blah blah. Just believe in the Lord that he's sending the husband soon. And so we go to this place. Now, I introduced myself at the beginning of this video. My name is Takesha. People call me TK for short. And we're in Atlanta. And when we look up bridal shops, we found that there was a shop called TK's Bridal. We have to go here. It's my shop. Okay. So anyway, so we booked to go there, and we had a beautiful time. We tried on dresses, and I actually did find the dress. And I was like, oh, this is it. This is it. Wow. And like when we were filling out the paperwork and all that stuff, we are just putting these prophetic names of spouses, putting these prophetic names on this paperwork, because ain't none of us engaged. No prospects, but maybe I got a prospect who turned out he was the prospect. Like, it was a good time anyway. So we do that prophetic act, and then we get situated so that I can go to the airport. Get to the airport, my flight is delayed several times. So now what went from late night went to the middle of the night, and I'm like just kind of keeping tabs with him to let him know, like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Like you planned out all this time to come get me, and this, like, it's out of my control. I'm sorry. Just thank you so much for your patience. Like, thank you for being willing to get me. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. And he was just so graceful and so kind the entire time. He was so patient. He just kept reassuring me, like, it's not your fault. Like, it's cool. I made this my plans for today. Like, it's cool. I got you. And so that was very helpful to me, that he wasn't rushing me, that he didn't think I was an inconvenience, that he was looking forward to seeing me and being able to do that for me. All of that really mattered, and all of that is very specific for me. And we can talk about that in other videos. So finally get on the plane, get to my destination, and when I'm waiting for my bags, they lose my bags. They're not coming on the little thing. And I'm like, oh my God. So he's outside at this point. He waiting for your girl. He outside at arrivals waiting for me. I'm already nervous because I don't know this guy. Like, I just have worked with him. I know him platonically. I know things that God has shown me about him in visions and in dreams. I've been praying for him, but we don't talk like that. Like, I don't know him. And so I'm nervous already. I'm excited nervous because I'm like, what's this gonna be about? I'm nervous as all get out because like we don't really know each other like that. I've never been around him outside of work. Outside of when I worked at Whole Foods, it was just a whole thing. I was feeling a run of the gamut of emotions, and so when they lost my bag and I had to send them another text and say, hey, they lost my bag. I got to go get in line at the office to put in the paperwork, blah, blah. He was like, wow, you're just having a great time, aren't you? Like, but you know, no worries. I'm outside. I'm chilling. People watching, you know, he was just so kind about it. Like, and it was just it put me at ease. It made me feel very, relaxed and comfortable. And so when I finally get done with all that and I walk outside, the butterflies are going. Oh God, the butterflies is butterflying. And I'm walking across the little lanes and then I see him at the car and he's standing outside. Woo, standing outside the car waiting for your girl. And I was like, sheesh. Ooh, boy, you look good. Anyway, I'm like, oh, you look good. You better be outside waiting for me. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Anyway, that's what was going on in my head. I wasn't going to say that to him because we don't know each other like that. But that was very appealing to me, that he was standing out there like just propped up, posted up in front of the car waiting for your girl. I was like, oh, you better be waiting for me. Check for me, honey. So he helps me with my backpack into the car. And on the ride, so we got an hour together in the car. We've never been with each other outside of work, right? So I'm thinking maybe it's going to be awkward. It was not. There was this peace and like camaraderie and like chemistry where our conversation just flowed very well. It was very intelligent. It was very like easygoing. It was very like just nice, just easy. Like we've been cool for a long time. And that stood out to me. Then I heard the Lord tell me to tell him about the prophetic act of trying on the dresses. And in my brain, I'm like, God, I'm not doing that. He's going to think I'm weird. I don't even know if he likes Jesus. I don't even know if he's a believer, God. This white boy got gauges in his ears. He is tatted up. He worked at Whole Foods. He posts about cats and he's younger than me. Like all these things that I'm thinking, right? I'm like, I can't tell him that. Like he gonna kick me out this car. And the Lord was like, tell him. So I was like, okay. I said, hey, you want to hear this cool thing I did today? He's like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, yeah, so me and my friends went to this bridal shop and I'm like telling him about it. And then when we got to like a stop, I showed him the picture of me in the dress because the Lord told me to. And he was like, wow. like he was not, when I say his reaction was just like, cool, like, all right. Like he was with it. He was not taken back by what I shared. Like he did not think it was strange. He thought it was just so cool. And then when I showed him me in the dress, he was just like, wow. And he held his tongue, but I was like, okay, I know you think I look good. All right, cool. Anyway, so we enjoy the rest of the ride together. We end up making a stop at CVS because CVS in the north is open 24 hours. And it's the middle of the night and they lost my bags. And so he was like, hey, do you need to stop at CVS on your way to your house so that you can get some like toiletries or like anything that you might need since they lost your bag? I was like, oh man, yeah, actually that would be great. Yeah, let's do that. So we stop. He helps me out the car and then he like gives me space. Like he lets me walk in and yeah, just I do my thing and he's like doing his thing in the store. He doesn't like hover around me. He didn't walk with me. Like he gave me my space and my privacy, but he also stayed like around enough for me to know that he was there with me kind of thing. And I pay attention to stuff like that. So like I knew he was intentionally doing that. I'm paying attention to how he's acting and I appreciate that. Okay. Cause I'm just like, I know that's right. I know you better protect me, but also not be trying to crowd me because we don't know each other like that. Like, I appreciate you, sir. So anyway, that was very endearing to me. And then, uh, when I'm like about ready and he sees I'm making my way toward the register, he catches back up to me. He's like, did you get everything you needed? Do you need to do anything else? Like, and I was just like, oh no, thanks. I got everything. Again, he gave me my space so I could take care of my stuff. And then he helped me back into the car. He took me to my house and, if this, I don't know, if it had been anybody else or if it had been a different type of vibe, I would not have had him drop me off to my house. I would have had him drop me off down the street or somewhere else. And I would have walked, the rest of the way so he didn't know where I live. But like, I don't know, I didn't feel that way. So he pulled up to the end of my driveway. He told me to have a good night, that he enjoyed our conversation and our ride and stuff like that, and he hopes everything worked out for me. Nothing strange and nothing like, can I see you again? It was nothing. It was very platonic and very like, this was cool. And then there was like room for interpretation. And so I said good night and I left. And then a couple days later, when they sent me my bag, I was just like, this could be a good way for me to follow up with him because there was room for interpretation. And so I sent a picture of me being like, here's my suitcase. Like, they sent my stuff. And that conversation actually turned into us starting to like message each other a little bit more, and then him asking me out on a date. And as they say, the rest is history. But as I will say, the experiences only got better, and now we are about to be 3 years married. And so it went from 0 to 100 in a couple months, and here we are 3 kids later, 3 years later, and like, man, God is good. And some things I will say, which we can talk about in other videos too, but like some things I will say is that even though I was canceling him out because of the initial presentation, thinking it's not what I want, everything I had written down to the Lord as a prayer request for my spouse, my husband is all of it. I only asked God for 3 physical characteristics. Only 3. Everything else was about character and experience and essence. Because I'd been married before, I knew everything I didn't want. I knew everything I didn't want, but additionally, because of how God came and delivered me, and I say it like that because if you look up the word deliver, it means to like violently pull from something. So because of the way the Lord delivered me in what I was in before, one of the things he had told me was whatever I envisioned, that's what he would give me. And this was about life. This was not about a person. This was about me, identity, assignment. This was about life. So he told me whatever I envisioned, that's what he would give me. And me being me, I was on some Solomon type stuff. I was like, okay, Lord, well, I don't want to limit you and I don't want to ask amiss. So if you help me with the vision, then I'll ask for the vision. If you give me the vision, that's what I will ask for. Help me, help me to see what you want from me. And so that's what I would do. I end up writing down and getting images for anything that I felt like the Lord showed me concerning my identity, my assignment in this earth, and the generations and the bloodline and, you know, the legacy. So so that's what I would end up putting in a vision book. And then my bestie, she was like, you know, you should digitize this. And I did. And so I have the physical and digital versions of my vision of the blueprints that the Lord gave me for life, for this assignment. And so a page of it is devoted to my spouse and what he was going to be like and what our experience together was going to be like. So when we get to he and I meeting each other and having this meet cute, so to speak, where our first meet cute is really him passing by me in work and me being like, whoa, whoa, what's going on with my body, to us having our first like encounter outside of work. And really, like, I guess another meet cute would be when I ran into him after filming my show that day. But us having this encounter outside of work and me realizing like, oh, okay, maybe he is trying to tell me that he's interested. And my best friend really trying to help me like recognize the signs, because Lord, I'd be thick sometimes. And then our experience with like talking and courting and stuff, all of it. And then even to now, about to be 3 years into our marriage, all of it has been what I asked for. All of it has been what I prayed, and all of it has been what God gave me vision of. So it's just funny. I tried to cancel him out based off of initial presentation, and the Lord was like, he is the very man from your dreams and from your prayers. Literally, he is him, and here you go. And he delivered him to me. So that's my story about how I ended up not meeting my husband, but becoming connected to the husband that God had for me. And again, like I fasted with Prophetess Tiffany and the Year of the Bride. I prayed all them prayers, and then that gave me momentum for other prayer strategies that I would then do on my own, and outside of her ministry, with the ministry and group of friends and community that I was a part of. So anywho, the Lord told me to share this because I don't know what it is, but right now there's like, well, you know, the Year of the Bride fast still exists. There are people who are actively doing it right now. There are women and men who are rebuilding with God, and their spouse is a part of the rebuilding. And so God had just told me to put this video out on YouTube. So anyway, I hope it's helpful. I hope it's a blessing, honestly. And there's so much more to the story. So we could chop it up, you know, just like, comment, subscribe, I guess, and we'll go on this walk together. But I love y'all, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.